Merry-go-round broke down. Something, something, something. Dun, 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 dun. Cliff Friend, the composer of the Looney Tunes theme song, Merry-Go-Round Broke Down. I didn't know that. I know it now. So, just very quickly, I think, I don't know how much time I have. I'm going to kind of showcase what I've been doing for the last while now. I have been farming. I don't know anything about farming, but somehow we've successfully gotten to this point. There are actual tomatoes growing here in the backyard. This one's ripening right now, turning red. They got 4 more here, 3 more over there. This one's actually turning very red right now. All these other ones are starting to develop. Very small, these are the infants, the baby ones, you know. And I've learned a lot about taking care of this kind of plant. You gotta prune them. All these videos online about pruning tomato plants and getting rid of the dead leaves and all that, and trying to help it in some way and getting rid of things on it that might be. I had to cut off. I had to do like a transplant. There's a nice little bee for you, even though there's no real flowers to pollinate. There's a giant, ridiculous bee that always comes around here. There's gotta be a nest nearby. In any case, before I get, you think they wouldn't do this in the rain, but I think insects very much understand weather. You know, I know when it's gonna rain. I know when it's not gonna rain. They take precautions and come out when they know it's safe. Things like that. So, what have I been up to? Trying to figure out what the benefits are to getting more oxygen in your system. I'm just trying to understand it, you know, because I've been getting so much more oxygen now, and because I feel a lot better. I'm healing from all my ailments. It's detoxifying, really. I mean, when you detoxify your body, I think that you do have it's a complicated process that needs time to take its full effect. There's no one day sort of thing. It's going to take a while for the body to truly work out its problems. Since I'm getting so much oxygen now, I think things are changing, and I'm getting better and more energetic every day, and it's been something that I wish I knew about for years. But this place of where I come from, we don't care about being smart about things in life. Just kind of go and rush through it and see what happens, kind of thing. And it's just, I don't like it, but them's the breaks. What I've been having trouble with recently, Dreamcast. I know, you know how I'm wondering to myself all the time now, why am I struggling to make the Dreamcast play ISOs? When we have emulators these days that if you have a decent, you know, good PC, you can play pretty much any Dreamcast game, top tier quality, top speed, same as on the console. Why am I worried about burning games and playing them on the Dreamcast officially when I've been having trouble with the laser? It's been parking at the bottom. I think that's the problem I've been having with it. Either that or the little trigger at the back has not been hitting the proper connection to keep the laser getting engaged with enough power. I don't know what that thing does, but it's the safety. I've done the thing that most people with a Dreamcast have probably done at some point, and this is the second time. That's to show you how stupid I am. I did indeed look into the laser while I pressed the button to turn on the Dreamcast laser, so I caught like a millisecond of a glimpse of the laser and caught myself and took my eye away from it. But I definitely think even that 1 second, millisecond of looking into the laser has had an impact. I don't think it's going to blind me. But it's the second time this has happened. I opened up the Dreamcast and played around with the laser a long time ago, years ago. And back then the laser got thrown into my eye a little bit, and it had the same impact. It kind of just stung. Not hurt like crazy, but you can feel something got kind of burned by it. So that's what definitely a true warning. Don't look into any kind of CD laser if you're working on it. And I feel that. I feel something wrong with my eye. I don't believe it's just gonna have to take time to recuperate. It's not something that I think it needs serious medical attention. And I can still see perfectly. It's just that I feel like something's disoriented, a little bit off. Obviously, the laser went in there and bounced around in my eye a little bit, I guess, and then didn't have serious problems. But I don't need that kind of thing. I don't need to be blind right now. I got so much going on. I'm waiting right now today for a call from Prime Flight. Tomorrow, potentially get a call from Hallmark. Will I get a call? As anybody who's ever gone out to a job knows, these people that run these recruitment things, the HR department, they're very tricky. You know, the only job apparently that I've ever gotten, and this has been way back when I went to work at Target, the only jobs that I've actually gotten were the ones where I went to the interview, and right there at the interview they said, you were hired. Apparently, there's a little trick the interviewers play. Whenever they don't want you, whenever they've decided they don't want you, they say, all right, we'll continue to look at you, and we will call you if we want you. That means they don't want you. They're not going to say it to your face. They're going to just make that declaration, we will call you later. Have I ever actually gotten a job where they've called me over the phone and I've gone back and we got started with the job, or what was the case? I don't think so. Every job that I've ever gotten that I've actually got started working with, I went to the interview. This was Delta too. When I went to the Delta job interview, I drove all the way down to Manhattan, parked in one of those paid parking lots, went to the room where they do the Delta interview. They tested my lifting ability, all that crap, and then sat down with some dude and did a little bit of an interview. And because I worked at the airport already, he said, okay, you're hired. And that was it, shook hands. I bet that if he didn't want to hire me and he wanted to go down that road, he would have said, okay, you seem like a good candidate. If we consider you further if we consider you to go forward with the process, we'll call you. And of course not call. So this is kind of just bitch stuff, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna bring a bunch of people and make them take an exam, this is what I did. I took an exam, like back in school, fucking ridiculous exam, and I went and went to the interview part. Not even a one-on-one interview. They were so backed up with people that they did 3 at a time interview. Asked some silly ass questions nobody cares about, had nothing to do with the job, and then were all 3 of us told, well, we'll call you if we like you. I have never really gotten a job where the interviewer has made that note, oh, we're going to call. I can't even think of one. I've worked at ASIG, I've worked at Swissport, the post office. I think it might have been the post office that was the only one that actually called me and said, okay, you're hired or something. Like TSA is another one where they actually do have you apply system. They have a system. They don't just make choices based on just interview alone. They do indeed have a thing where you have to apply, go to the interview session, pass an exam. They have a lot of criteria that they put. It's all bullshit. You are lifting bags all day and looking at a screen and determining things. That's it. And you're doing a lot of work in terms of a lot of patting down. You're getting paid about as much as a postal worker, probably even a garbage man. So I don't think they have to do any of that. So why is it that we have to go at the TSA? Because they want to look fancy and like a big time organization, which they are not. But yeah, there's very few, if I've ever done them, that have actually called me back. Especially these, that's a government position. All the government jobs will call you back if they choose you, sort of thing. Private jobs, private industry jobs, not so much. There's no call back. That's just the say. But this is a different situation. This job, it really is just lifting bags all day kind of thing. So I would hope that they give me a call and we can get it all started and get going. You know, I'm not putting it out there that if they tell you they're going to call you back, potentially that it's not going to work out. But the majority of the jobs that I've actually gotten to work were ones in which they said right there in the interview, we are going to go forward here, you're hired, let's do this. So there's a lot of tricks going on. Tricks. A lot of people out there who are very evil sons of bitches, and they're going to just kind of pretend to care about you getting a job and then not really give a damn about you getting a job. So, and it's like, you're going after those security jobs, those are traps. They tell you to go get your 8 and 16-hour certificate. That's a money trap. You go to a place, pay money to them to train you to get your 8-hour certificate or something. And then they say they're going to get you the job. They put in the Craigslist posting, after you get your certificate, we will get you the job. And then I did that. I actually went through the training class, and I was supposed to go and, actually go to the job interview afterwards, and none of that happened. It was a lie. They just wanted my money. They took my money and just forget it. They didn't care. They didn't get no certificate, nothing. So that was a trap. I don't like the whole way the world is just like, so concerned with money. Money. If you don't get money from somewhere, you're screwed. I didn't grow up worried about money, and I don't want to worry about money. So I'd rather not worry about it. Find a way to do that. And just thinking about life right now. Thinking about what I'm gonna do about stuff. I gotta go chase the dollar like everyone else, and I don't really care about doing that. You know what I care about? I care about art. I care about creating something that I want to create. You know what I mean? And I'm not really concerned with the money side of things as much as they want you to be. Society indeed does want you to be completely devoted to the quest for money. And, that's a sad thing, to just want to make money. It's just sad. What do you want when you think about it? You just want to have a big pile of money sitting there so that you don't have to worry about starving to death? This thing that they're not telling you in life is that everything that you need is provided by nature. They don't want to say that because they want you to continue to chase money, but you're not going to die if you just live your life. You're not, you're part of nature, and nature provides for you. Everything there is not, seriously, ultimately, without a doubt, 100% need to chase money like that. It's helpful. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying don't make money, but it's just not everything. Definitely not everything. And yeah, I'm figuring things out right now, and it's not easy. It's not easy to make sense out of the world as it is. And it never made sense. This is much worse. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I'm really kind of just making this stuff up as I go along, and it's just, it's crap. It's crap. because I don't really know. I don't really know anything. The education system don't work. The thing I'm learning is that, yeah, I gotta learn things myself. That's what I'm learning. No one's gonna teach me anything. I gotta learn about health, fitness, sexuality, and all these things by my own damn self. And it is a black versus white thing. There are white people who are very concerned with their people having the good stuff and the good knowledge, and then to hell with it, the blacks and the browns. So there's a component of that I'm learning is a problem for me. Is that if I was white, I wouldn't be here at my parents' house having all this YouTube chat with a bunch of internet people. I'd be out doing life. I'd be out doing good stuff. I'd be jumping out of planes and going skiing and flying wherever I wanted to go all over the world. Be concerned with my bank account being too low. I need more money. Doing this, doing that. You kidding me? With my intelligence and all that, I'd do things. I wouldn't just be sitting around here trying to learn the damn piano or something. The thing I want to do is get to my lessons on my hard drive. Trying to learn it just by using I'm learning songs, little songs. I'm even making up songs, but the thing I want to do is actually learn it like you were to go to a school and learn it, and go through a specific lesson course so that I can master the basics. It's hard for me to get to that point because I have no computer. So without a computer, I can't look at. I've downloaded so much how-to videos and how-to material. This is one thing that people are completely unaware of because they've been so indoctrinated into the belief that the school system is the only thing ever that will get you your quote-unquote education. Is that we're sitting on a gold mine every day. The internet is an infinite, vast resource from which you can learn a new language, and you only got to dedicate a couple minutes to that a day of just studying a few new words and new ways to talk, and that's it. You can probably grasp. You don't have to learn a language. I always say just learn the basics, and you'll understand the basics first. Greetings, the name of basic everyday things. Don't learn the obscure shit like, I'm not even, I learned the word wine in Japanese. Like, that is a dumbass thing to do. It's like, I know they want to teach you that if you're someone who's going traveling, you're going to request wine at a bar. But for me, I don't need to know that. So I'm just saying, learn like Pasto, grass, Calle Street, even things like aquí, allá, silla, chair, bicicleta. Of course, there's words in Spanish that are basically the same exact thing as the English word. They're just said differently. Music is música. Is that really Spanish when you think about it? It literally, I think they call the piano musica. Is it? I don't know what they call it. I know the word pizza in Spanish is like really complicated. It's like 1,080 degrees different from what the word would be in English. So it's just a tricky thing sometimes. I've been learning Spanish all my life because my friend in first grade was Spanish. He was black and Spanish together. So he spoke Spanish fluently, and I'd always hang out at his house. And of course, he watched the Spanish version of Sesame Street. So I kind of learned a bit of Spanish by watching Sesame Street in Spanish because he watched it in Spanish and he spoke Spanish. That would have been smarter to actually start. I didn't think at the time. I wasn't thinking I need to have a second language skill so that when I get older I'll be able to get better jobs. I didn't think that way as a kid. Nobody tells you that stuff. I had the resource right there. I had a friend in first and second grade or whatever the hell who spoke Spanish. I could have hung out at his house all the time and asked him to teach me Spanish. I didn't do it. You gotta catch kids young, man. I see the way the world is, and they teach you Spanish at the age of 13, 14, 15 going up, or whatever language, and it's wrong. You gotta catch them when they're like tiny kids. Then you can just cram their head full of all kinds of good stuff before they get too old and complicated. I don't get that whole thing, man. I see the way. The thing about it is, if you make any kind of like argument that kids should be taught this, kids should be taught that, it's gonna be instant. People are gonna attack you instantaneously about it. So it's not even something to talk about. If nobody wants to talk about it, leave it alone. I don't care. But yeah, I'm trying to think about what Spanish I know. I know a lot of Spanish. If you live in the Bronx at all, you gotta learn at least 40, 30 something odd % Spanish. Because there's nothing but Latino people around here. A lot of Latino everywhere. Even my little bit of me has a Spanish accent because I grew up around Spanish people so freaking much. But yeah, I mean, gentes, people, bodega. You can't get away from it. There's Spanish everywhere around here, and it's cool. I like Spanish stuff. I like Indian culture and Asian culture more. But, if you want to say plane, it's avión. If you want to say hour, hora, it's a que hora llega. That's for arrival at an airport. Like, if somebody asks me something at the airport in Spanish, I can tell them to go va a la sobre, no, not sobre, de abajo, de escalera, and then they go that direction, or I can tell them right. These are the things I know very well because I've had to actually tell people in Spanish at the airport, go left, go right, go there, aquí, allá, allá is there, aquí is here. The thing you gotta learn is the basics in Spanish, like this and the and este and esta. They really emphasized that when I went to Spanish class, but I didn't even know what the words meant, so it didn't help to emphasize that. But they kept saying you have to learn este and esta. The reason you learn those is because you're going to be saying this and that a lot. And if you listen to what Spanish people are talking about, sometimes they're always saying este, esta. Oh, because everything in life when you're talking is that, this, and the is el is said a lot. And, so I don't even feel like pushing myself to learn Spanish so hard. And just casually, like working at the airport with Spanish people in the TSA, they taught me how to say luggage in Spanish, maleta. Tell people where to put their baggage in Spanish, pon, la maleta, aquí or allá, things like that, So that's good for me. It's like, there's a lot of black Spanish people too. I worked with a guy who was black, but he grew up in Brazil. I can't remember his name. Monique, something like that. Damn, he was the nicest guy in the world. Very nice, cheerful guy. And he was black, but he grew up in Brazil. So he just you know, if he had to speak Spanish to a Spanish passenger at the airport, you know, he spoke it perfect. And he's a black dude, and that was just like impressive. That was impressive, you know. I mean, when you work at the airport, you're gonna learn something about black people. You're gonna learn, but you're gonna see black people from all over the world. They don't even know what it's like to be an American black person. They have no concept of that. They grew up in a place far the hell away in some Spanish whatever, and they don't know nothing about the concept of American, like, barbaric issues with black people. They grew up with a culture and a lifestyle that was just, I guess, far away from the racist views here in this country. So it's impressive for me to finally, like, witness black people with high intelligence speak multiple languages, just freaking different than the typical propaganda of black people being all from the hood that you get here. So, that was great for me. I was like, wow, you know, there's what I'm trying to say. A few exist. A few. You know, there's some black people out there that are freaking ridiculously smart. It's not hard to understand that concept. Yeah, I mean, the thing that hurts me and like pisses me off is like, okay, when you make fun of a person for not speaking English properly, the thing about it is this: no one in America speaks English properly. That's the joke. When you hear about white, people saying you don't speak English well because you're speaking English black, you're speaking English wrong, you have an accent. American accent is actually improper English when you really think about it. Like this thing I'm talking with right here, because I grew up here in America and I sound like an American, I'm actually supposed to sound a bit like this. You know, you're supposed to have a little bit more posh to your voice. Yeah, this is the actual way English is supposed to be said. And I find, intellectually speaking, because my first ever understanding of language was Jamaican patois speak, I do indeed have a lot more familiarity with speaking like this. Not speaking like no regular man. Speak like a Jamaican. Someone from the islands, man. You know what I mean? That's more where I that's how I freaking think I'm supposed to be talking. Like, I've been so inbred with how to speak like an American that you know, when I do slip back into my Jamaican accent, it feels so natural. It's like this is the way I'm supposed to talk. I'm not supposed to be talking like no damn, you know, country boy from goddamn Kentucky and all that. Cause I grew up hearing that, you know, Jamaican accent so much. It makes more sense to me to kind of flip it and go back to that, honestly. But, you know, I gotta keep faking that I'm not Jamaican. Keep pretending to be something else. Because that's the only way I'm, you know, if I go into a job and you go, give me the damn job, bitch. And I go like that, it's not gonna work out. Sorry. So I'm just gonna continue to wait for this stupid ass job and then make some money. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to avoid jobs in the future by working app gigs for the most part. We will see. And that's all I got to say right now. If you're watching this stuff, which I probably aren't, okay? I'll see you all if it's recorded. It might not have recorded, so I'll see you.